So in this video, I wanted to answer this question, which I had for a long time that I didn't understand, and that is why, how can your body start to react to all these kinds of normal elements all of a sudden? Um, so this is probably one of the biggest questions if you have an autoimmune condition, is like, how did you end up to a point where you can only eat beef, salt, water, right? You can't eat a piece of fruit, can't eat um, any vegetables. In my case, it's the other way, not the other way around, but it's salmon, salt, sweet potatoes, water. These are the four things. And even when I compare this to, let's say, beginning of the year, right, I was able to have, compared to now, a lot more things. In the beginning of the year and all the way till like the middle of the year, so far in 2020, I was having soup in the morning that had Edos. It had some carrots, celery, and beef broth. And right around, I made a video about it a couple of months ago, I think, like 2 months or 3 months max. I started to react to that soup. I couldn't eat the Edos anymore. I started to get really, I started to react to carrots. And right now, I'm at a point where I can't even eat that soup. So when you're going through this kind of trajectory and over time you're just like getting more and more sensitive, and you're like the pool of food you can eat is shrinking more and more down. This is one of the biggest questions that you could have. And the best answer I found to this so far is that in your gut, right? So this is like, we're kind of like a tube, right? Like we eat the food and it just goes down like a tube and rolls around in our stomach and everything like that, right? So the normal way it's supposed to be is that we eat food and then it goes to our stomach and then it absorbs all the nutrients and stuff like that, and then whatever's like the leftover goes out when we use the bathroom, and whatever's the nutrients, it goes in our bloodstream. Okay? What happens when you have a leaky gut is in the gut we have little holes. And through those holes, these food particles start to leak out. So like literally there is like carrots, small pieces of carrot in my bloodstream, small pieces of apple in my bloodstream. And when that happens, our immune system gets triggered that, okay, this is an intruder. It's not used to seeing this kind of particle in the bloodstream normally, and it attacks it. Now here's where the crazy thing happens. Now that it attacked it, it has marked that food, that element, as a intruder. So the next time you eat that food, you are way more hypersensitive to it, and your body starts to attack it immediately. So this is what I believe is happening, right? There's lots of ways people are explaining this, but this seems the closest in my experience thus far. Same with a lot of foods that I maybe overdid a little bit, right? Like I used to be able to eat a banana, and then one of the times I remember clearly that I was like, I got really hungry. I for some reason, like I didn't make my food or something like that, so I ate 2 bananas in a row. Since that, I was not able to ever eat a banana again. Soup was fine for a long time. About a couple of months ago, it was like in the weekend when I was like, okay, I want to get a snack. Like I'm feeling extremely snacky, right? I've been eating my normal food for so long, and I'm like, okay, what can I eat? And I was like, all right, let me get the Edos and let me just bake them. So Edos normally would get fully cooked, boiled in my soup only in the mornings. What I did this time is just take raw Edos and I baked them. I thought that, hey, the Edos are kind of like sweet potatoes. If I can eat sweet potatoes baked, maybe, I shouldn't have any problems with Edos. When I ate them and I baked them, and I had a reaction. I felt, dizzy, shortness of breath, everything like that, loss of balance, can't walk for a couple of days. And since then, I can't eat the Edo even in the soup. So, that's pretty much it. It's a quick little video to answer this question. I really think this is this is what is happening in your body when you're getting when you're basically having to eliminate all these foods that you're reacting to. This is the process that's going through. And the only tip I can give is if you are able to eat a certain food, don't push it. Don't push it in any other kind of form, right? Like, for example, I probably would have been fine if I just kept it slow and didn't eat that Edo or try to think if I can bake it. I shouldn't have probably gone too far with experimenting with that. I think if you're the number of food that you can eat is already like under, let's say, 5 items, then I would not experiment different forms of the ones that you can currently eat, right? So if you can currently eat, like, let's say, sweet potatoes like me, it's probably not a good idea to try to see if you can like eat them a little bit more crispy, or if you can like make like different kinds of like cakes with sweet potatoes. Online I see a lot of shit like, sweet potato cake, because a lot of people have autoimmune, can only eat sweet potatoes, so there's like YouTube channels now like all about sweet potato type food. I wouldn't go that direction. I wouldn't try to find out what are ways I can, have more pleasure from eating, right? Make more tasty food with this 1 or 2 items that I can eat. Because if you mess up and you trigger your body to mark that food as a intruder, then there goes sweet potatoes. Now you cannot eat sweet potatoes anymore. And you probably end up with like for example, right now, let's say I go too far with salmon. I can eat only sweet potatoes and salmon. If I get salmon out of the way and I'm going too hard with trying to experiment stuff and that gets knocked out, then I'm done. I only have sweet potatoes, which I don't think you can live on, right? So especially when you have, like, I only have 2 foods right now, and it's very critical that if I mess up one of them or somehow one of them gets triggered, then I'm going to be in deep trouble, right? I'm not going to be able to. You can't probably live just on sweet potatoes and water, right? Like you're not even getting the salt. Then I would probably have to just put salt on sweet. Like, it's not going to work. So anyways, that's the message today, and yeah.